Few games in the 16-bit era have gained a reputation quite like Shaq Fu. Released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega Genesis, Shaq Fu is a fighting game starring none other than basketball superstar Shaquille O'Neal. At a time when celebrity-endorsed games were emerging, the game took an unusual approach, placing the basketball giant not on the court, but in a mystical dimension, engaging in martial arts combat. Though it garnered attention for its novelty, Shaq Fu quickly became infamous for its bizarre premise, unconventional gameplay, and polarizing reception. However, over the years, the game has transformed from a subject of ridicule into a cult classic with a passionate fanbase. The concept originated from the growing trend of integrating celebrities into video games during the early 90s. Delphine Software, a French studio known for acclaimed titles like Another World and Flashback, was approached by Electronic Arts, EA, to create a game starring Shaquille O'Neal. At the time, Shaq was at the height of his basketball career and cultural stardom, making him a prime candidate for a cross-media venture. Instead of crafting a basketball game, Delphine Software opted for something unexpected, a 2D fighting game, a genre booming thanks to hits like Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat. Delphine's expertise in fluid animation was evident in the game. Using the rotoscoping techniques that made their earlier games famous, the studio aimed to create smooth, lifelike movements for the characters. Despite its limitations, this approach resulted in surprisingly detailed visuals for a 16-bit fighting game. One of the major challenges was its tight development schedule. With Shaq's fame peaking and a lucrative licensing deal on the table, the game needed to hit the market quickly. This rush affected various aspects of the game, from character balancing to the narrative. The story is as unusual as its premise. The game begins with Shaquille O'Neal heading to a charity basketball game in Tokyo. Along the way, he stumbles into a mysterious dojo, where the elderly master informs him of his destiny to save a young boy named Nezu in a parallel dimension. Shaq enters the Second World, a mystical realm filled with eccentric characters, including a cat-like sorceress, a mummy, and an evil overlord named Set Ra. The storyline is a mix of martial arts tropes, fantasy elements, and outright absurdity, cementing the game's reputation as one of the most bizarre celebrity tie-ins in gaming history. At its core, it is a traditional one-on-one fighting game. Players control Shaq or one of the other characters, each with a unique set of moves. The game features light, medium, and heavy attacks. Special moves, such as Shaq's Shaquriken, a spinning projectile attack. A stamina-based combo system. While the controls are functional, they were often criticized for being unresponsive and unintuitive compared to other fighting games of the time, including multiple game modes. Story mode, players control Shaq as he battles through a series of opponents to rescue Nezu. The mode features branching paths, allowing players to choose their next fight. Duel mode, a standard versus mode where players can fight against each other or the computer. The game's roster includes a colorful array of characters, such as Kaori, a feline warrior with fast, agile moves, Voodoo, a mysterious sorceress with magical attacks, Mephis, a demon-like fighter with dark powers. The stages are equally eccentric, featuring backdrops like haunted mansions, eerie forests, and volcanic arenas. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't just a passive figurehead, he actively contributed to the game's promotion. He even included references to the game in his rap albums and public appearances. Despite its poor reception at launch, Shaq Fu developed a cult following over the years. Fans have embraced its campy premise, spawning memes, fan art, and even campaigns to preserve copies of the game. In 2018, a sequel titled Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn was released. It reimagined the original as a side-scrolling beat-em-up, poking fun at the first game's flaws while offering improved gameplay and self-aware humor. A parody campaign called the Shaq Fu Redemption Project was launched online to find and destroy as many copies of the original game as possible. While tongue-in-cheek, it highlighted the game's notorious reputation. At the time of its release, the game received mixed to negative reviews. Critics praised its visuals and animations, but criticized its gameplay mechanics and unusual premise. Despite its initial reception, reputation has only grown, becoming a fascinating piece of gaming history. Shaq Fu for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System is a testament to the quirky experimentation of 90s gaming. While it may not have lived up to its contemporaries in the fighting game genre, its unique concept and association with Shaquille O'Neal ensured its place in gaming history. Whether you view it as a flawed gem or an endearing oddity, Shaq Fu remains an unforgettable relic of the 16-bit era. Like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird and wonderful corners of retro gaming.